piercing the sky tonight as Russia wages war across the country. Missiles and explosions have been raining down on the capital of Kiev, while Vladimir Putin continues a vicious assault on his neighbor. Russian forces have surrounded the city, and new reports indicate they're descending on the military airport 20 miles south of Kiev. And just moments ago, Ukraine's president made a sobering statement saying, quote, "Tonight is the night the enemy will storm Kiev. Our enemy will use all the forces at his disposal to break our resistance. Vile, harsh, and not human. You cannot lose the capital." The Ukrainian people are listening. They vowed to defend their homeland with iron and blood, like two brave border guards who chose death rather than surrender. Defiance runs strong in the Ukrainian people as they refuse to let their country be ravaged. When a strategic bridge was in danger of falling to Russian forces, one brave Marine decided to take it down, even if it meant sacrificing his own life to do it. And it's not just the military. Ordinary citizens are taking up arms and making Molotov cocktails. According to reports, Ukraine is banning all males between 18 and 60 from leaving the country as they prepare an army of civilians to defend their democracy. But these brave men and women are following the example set by their president.
We are all here. Our soldiers are here, the citizens are here, and we are here. We defend our independence. That's how it'll go.
Ukrainians have brave blood. Even former Ukrainian President Petro Poroshenko is rallying resistance fighters. Today, he sent this message to Vladimir Putin.
We Ukrainians are not standing in line for the bread or for the cash from the bank machine. We are standing in line for the weapons. We are standing in line to give our blood.
How long do you think you can hold out?
Forever.
And it looks like the Ukrainian people's resolve is working, as President Zelensky's spokesman says that the two sides are in talks about where and when negotiations should take place. Fox News correspondent Trey Yingst is live in Kiev.
Blasts and small arms fire as Russian forces continue to advance on the Ukrainian capital. Ukrainian officials say those forces have already breached the city limits in some areas. This is significant because, as we talked about yesterday, Jesse, we do expect to see street fighting as these forces make their way into the Ukrainian capital. There have been really reports of civilians and citizens going underground. And so we followed those reports and actually met some of them today. And people here are terrified. They don't know what comes next. Many women and children doing everything they can to stay out of harm's way. And any man who is currently in this country, ages 18 to 60, must pick up arms and fight. That according to a general mobilization order by Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. To give you a sense, though, of just how patriotic some of the people here are, we spoke to a member of parliament today, and he told me that he will go tomorrow to fight the Russians. He had a weapon with him, and he had just picked it up from a local police station, telling me they were giving out weapons like candy. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky tonight is encouraging the civilians here to use those weapons and fight alongside the armed forces as they look to repel that Russian attack. Jesse?
So, Trey, you've gotten the lay of the land there in the capital. If urban warfare does break out, what will that look like? Is it high-rise skyscrapers? Is it residential? And are there leaders within the civilian units who could possibly design ambushes and things of that nature?
Ambushes are going to be a big strategy for the Ukrainians if those Russian forces do make their way into this capital city of Kyiv. We've been talking to people in the streets about their preparation to fight the Russians if they do indeed make that offensive. And every indication right now is that they will. The president is warning that tonight could be the night. And you just heard the explosion behind me there, which indicates, based on how close that was, and there's actually flashes. I'm not sure if you can see it on the screen, but there are flashes of explosions behind me. And we have not actually seen that in the past. We're just hearing them. So that is a big indicator. It's getting closer and closer to the city center here. And back to what we were talking about, though, these civilians, they say they will do anything to fight tooth and nail to keep the Russians out of this capital and keep them from overthrowing the government. We spoke to one man who actually came up to us today speaking in English, and these were his words. He said, "I'm not good with weapons, but I will use a kitchen knife and I will slaughter the Russian pigs." That's how he described the Russian forces that are currently inside this country. Again, the explosions behind me indicating they are making their way toward the city center of this capital. Jesse?
What kind of, because we can hear those, what kind of munitions are those?
We don't know what kind of munitions those are. The Russians have been using everything from cruise missiles to ballistic missiles to even mortar fire and artillery fire as they work their way across this country. And remember, it's not just here in the capital of Kyiv. It's also in the east in the Donbas region and the regions of Luhansk and Donetsk. It's also in the south, just over the border from Crimea, an area of land that was annexed by the Russians back in 2014, and also the second largest Ukrainian city of Kharkiv. By the Russians, the Ukrainians say they will fight to the death in order to keep the Russians from taking over this capital city.